Today, we're diving into one of China's most epic legends, the story of Meng Jiang. Now, this isn't just any old folktale. It's a story about love, incredible grief, and an act of defiance so powerful, it literally brought down a piece of the Great Wall. Yeah, you heard that right. So, our story kicks off with this incredibly ambitious emperor. He decides he's going to build a massive wall, thousands of kilometers long, to protect his brand new empire. And look, this wasn't just about defense. This wall was a statement. It was a giant symbol of his absolute power, his way of securing a legacy by literally walling his empire off from the rest of the world. But here's the thing about that kind of ambition. It always comes at a price, a massive human price. We're talking about men from all over China being ripped from their homes, from their families, and forced into this brutal, back-breaking labor. I mean, the whole idea of the wall's protection was basically built on the graves of the men who built it. For pretty much every single person sent there, it was a one-way trip. And you know, when we say the work was grueling, that's honestly an understatement. We're not talking about just a hard day's work here. This was a relentless, soul-crushing existence. It was dangerous, it was exhausting, and it all happened under the absolute harshest conditions you can even imagine. Okay, so while all that horror is unfolding at the wall, let's shift gears. Because far away from the Emperor's brutal project, in a quiet little village, something pretty miraculous is about to happen. And this is where our story really begins. So get this, you've got two families, the Mengs and the Jiangs, living right next to each other. One day, a single enormous gourd starts growing and it crosses the fence between their yards. Instead of fighting over it, they decide to share it. And when they cut it open, they find a beautiful baby girl inside. No joke. So they name her Meng Jiang, smashing their two family names together and raise her as their own. I mean, what a start, right? A child literally born from sharing and cooperation. And as you might expect from a beginning like that, Meng Jiang grew up to be just as incredible. Everyone knew her for her kindness, her talents, and how completely dedicated she was to her parents. She was basically the heart and soul of her small, peaceful community. But you know how these stories go? That peaceful world, that quiet garden, it couldn't stay untouched forever. The chaos of the emperor's world was about to crash into hers, bringing with it both incredible love and heartbreaking tragedy. And it all happens so fast. One day, she finds a young man, Fan Zhiliang, hiding in her garden. He's on the run, trying to escape being forced to work on the wall. They fall in love, like instantly, and get married. They have this one brief, perfect moment of happiness, and then it's all shattered. The emperor's soldiers show up, find him, and just like that, Fan Zhiliang is captured and dragged off to the wall. So Meng Jiang just waited. Can you imagine? Day after day, she just watched the horizon, hoping, praying he'd come back to her. But he never came. The days turned into weeks, the weeks into months, and that tiny flame of hope just started to flicker and die out. But here's the thing about Meng Jiang. She doesn't just give up. As the cold of winter started to set in, her worry turned into action. She made a decision. If he wasn't coming back to her, then she was going to go find him. And that's when her own epic journey begins. She sets out, all alone, carrying warm clothes that she'd made for her husband. Just this single, determined figure walking into the bitter, biting snow. She fought against these howling winds. I mean, the very same brutal weather that had probably broken the spirits and bodies of so many of those men who were forced to make that same trek. Crossing frozen rivers, climbing over dangerous mountains. The only thing that kept her going, the only thing that fueled every single step, was her love for Fan Zhiliang. It's just an incredible testament to her strength, right? And then, finally, after all of that, she makes it. She arrives at the Great Wall. But what she's about to find out? Well, this is the most heartbreaking and the most legendary part of the whole story. You can just picture her, right? Frantically going from worker to worker, asking if anyone knows her husband. And then one of them does. And he confirms her absolute worst fear. Fan Zhiliang was dead. He died from exhaustion. And his body, like countless others, was just buried, entombed right inside the wall. Hearing this, she's just broken, completely overcome with a grief so deep you can't even imagine it. She collapses and just weeps. But these weren't just any tears. Her sorrow was so powerful, so immense, that as her tears hit the stone, a huge section of the Great Wall, the emperor's ultimate symbol of power, It just crumbled. It fell apart and washed away right in front of her. Now, you can imagine when word of this gets back to the emperor, he is absolutely livid. I mean, furious. In his mind, somebody has just sabotaged his masterpiece. He orders his guards to find whoever did this and bring them to him for punishment, like right now. And this sets up the final showdown. But it's not a battle between armies. Oh no. It's a confrontation between one grieving woman and the most powerful man in the entire empire. But when they bring Meng Jiang before him, the emperor's plan for revenge just evaporates. His anger is instantly replaced by lust. He's so struck by her beauty that he completely forgets about punishing her. Instead, he decides he's going to make her one of his concubines. Now, Meng Jiang sees her chance. She's clever. She agrees to his demand, but on 3 conditions. And these conditions are designed to use his own lust against him, to humiliate him while honoring her husband. She demands a full state funeral for Fan Xiliang. The emperor himself has to be there. And, get this, he has to wear the traditional white mourning clothes, as if he were grieving for his own father. And the emperor, just totally blinded by his desire for her, actually agrees. It's incredible. He agrees to all these humiliating demands. He holds this huge funeral, and in doing so, he's paying his respects to a man whose death he caused, all while bending to the will of a common woman. But the second that funeral is over, Meng Jiang plays her final brilliant card. With her husband's memory properly honored, she turns to the emperor, flat out refuses to go with him, and throws herself into the nearby sea. She chose her own fate, choosing death over life serving the tyrant who destroyed her happiness. And just like that, she was gone. It was the ultimate act of defiance. She left this unjust world in the exact same way she came into it, mysteriously. So the legend of Meng Jiang really leaves us with this big question to think about. It seems to suggest that even the biggest, strongest symbols of power, like a giant wall, can't stand up to the force of human love and human grief. And I think that's why the story has been told for thousands of years. It's this incredible, timeless reminder that a nation's history isn't just written by its rulers and their grand projects, it's also written by the personal stories, the love, and the sorrow of its everyday people.